All right, let's dive in. Today, we are talking about financial fraud. And it's this kind of hidden industry that's all around us. You know, from that weird text message you got this morning to those massive corporate scandals you see on the news. Knowing how these scammers operate, well, that's our best defense. So let's get into it.
And the scale of this problem is, well, it's just staggering. We are not talking about small amounts of money here. According to the FTC, people lose billions with a B of dollars every single year to fraudsters. This isn't some niche problem affecting a few people. It's a massive, hidden economy that runs on pure deception.
So what exactly is financial fraud? At its core, it's any kind of scheme designed to trick you out of your money, your assets, or even just your personal data. It really boils down to two things: deception and then exploiting either your trust or a weakness in security. It's a game of manipulation, plain and simple.
To fight back effectively, we have to start thinking like a scammer. Fraud isn't just random chaos. Oh no, it's a well-honed playbook of strategies that they use over and over. So let's crack open that playbook and see exactly how they operate.
The first major strategy is all about becoming you, at least digitally. Scammers are after your core data, like your social security number, so they can open new credit cards in your name. Or they might try to take over accounts you already have, maybe through a tricky phishing email or some malware. And there's a really nasty one called a SIM swap attack, where they actually convince your phone company to move your number to their phone. Just like that, they're getting all your two-factor authentication codes. Scary stuff.
This second group is all about social engineering, basically playing on your emotions and your trust. This is where you find the classic phishing emails, but also smishing, which is the same thing but over a text message, and vishing, which is when they do it over the phone. This bucket also includes those absolutely heartbreaking romance scams, fake tech support calls, and all those too-good-to-be-true job offers that somehow end up costing you money.
And the last category, this one is all about manipulating the financial systems themselves. We're talking about the infamous investment schemes like Ponzi and pyramid schemes, but it also includes modern digital headaches like card-not-present fraud. That's when someone gets your card details and goes on an online shopping spree. And it even covers old-school tricks with a new twist, like sending you a fake check and asking for a bit of money back, or those advanced fee scams that promise you a fortune if you'll just pay a small fee first.
Now, two that get confused all the time are Ponzi and pyramid schemes. But the difference is actually pretty simple. In a Ponzi scheme, the money is just being shuffled around. Early investors get paid with money from newer investors, which creates this illusion of a super profitable investment. A pyramid scheme, on the other hand, is all about recruitment. Your main job is to bring in more people under you. And if there's a product, it's usually just a thin cover for the real business model.
Let's zoom in on one of the most damaging threats out there, especially for businesses. It's called business email compromise, or BEC. This is a seriously sophisticated attack. A scammer will either fake or sometimes actually hack into an executive's email account. Then they'll fire off an urgent-sounding email to someone in finance saying something like, "Hey, we have to pay this new vendor right now." The goal? To trick them into wiring thousands, sometimes millions of dollars straight into the scammer's bank account.
So, we've seen the playbook. We know their moves. But how do we actually spot these scams out in the wild? It all comes down to recognizing the red flags. Think of these as the tells in a poker game. They give the scammer's entire game away.
Okay, let's make this personal. As we go through these next few slides, really think about the emails, texts, and phone calls you get every day. Be honest with yourself. Could you spot these signals before it's too late?
These are the big ones, the universal signs that should set off alarms in your head no matter what the scam is. First, that feeling of intense urgency. They need you to act now before you have a chance to think. Second, a demand for secrecy. Don't tell anyone about this. And a huge one, they insist on weird, non-reversible ways to pay. I mean, think about it. No legitimate company is ever going to ask you to pay a bill with a Target gift card or crypto. Ever.
And when you're online, there are even more specific clues to look for. Be super skeptical of any email that suddenly changes where you're supposed to send a payment. And always look closely at the sender's email address. A tiny difference like acme-corp.com instead of the real acme.com, that's a dead giveaway. Another classic trap is the overpayment scam. You get a check for way too much and they ask you to wire back the difference. That check, it's going to bounce and your money will be long gone.
Knowing the red flags is your first line of defense, for sure, but a complete strategy needs more than that. It needs proactive prevention and a crystal clear response plan for when things do go wrong. So let's build that strategy right now.
For your personal finances, it really comes down to good habits. Let's call it consumer hygiene. Just be careful about sharing your sensitive info. Set up transaction alerts on your cards so you get a text the second a purchase is made. Make it a habit to check your bank statements and get your free credit report. And here's a golden rule. You should never, ever have to pay money to get a prize or to get hired for a job. It's just not how it works.
Now, for businesses, the stakes are much higher, so the defenses have to be stronger. Simple things, simple processes can make a huge difference. For example, requiring 2 people to sign off on any wire transfer can stop a BEC attack in its tracks. It's also critical to use email authentication tools, things like DMARC and SPF, that act like a digital seal to prove the sender is who they say they are. And that rule about verifying payment changes, it has to be done out of band, which is just a fancy way of saying you need to pick up the phone and call a trusted number for that vendor, not the one listed in the suspicious email.
But look, even with the best defenses in the world, mistakes can happen. People are human. So, what do you do in that critical, gut-wrenching moment when you realize you've been scammed?
There is absolutely no time to waste. Don't worry about being embarrassed, just act. The very first call you make is to your bank to freeze everything. Then, call your credit card companies and report the cards as stolen to block any more charges. After that, immediately change all your passwords, starting with your email account. And finally, report the fraud to your bank, to the platform where it happened, and to the authorities.
I cannot stress this enough. Every single second counts. The financial system actually has ways to recall fraudulent wires and reverse charges, but those windows are incredibly short. The faster you report it, the better the chance you have of getting your money back and stopping the fraudster from doing any more damage.
So, we've covered the playbook, the red flags, and the defense strategy. I'll leave you with this question to think about. Now that you know what to look for, what's the single weakest link in your own personal or professional defense? And what's one small change you can make today to make it stronger? Thanks for watching.